Today's movie is King Cohen, a 2018 documentary about filmmaker Larry Cohen. Who is Larry Cohen, you might ask? His films include Bone with Yaphet Kotto, It's Alive, the ultimate monster baby movie, Black Caesar with Fred Williamson, God Told Me To with a cameo by Andy Kaufman, Full Moon High with Alan Arkin, Q the Winged Serpent with Michael Moriarty, The Stuff with Michael Moriarty, Wicked Stepmother with Bette Davis, and Original Gangsters with all of the old blaxploitation stars. He is one of the primary independent writer, producer, directors of the 70s and 80s. His films were usually shot at his house, which used to belong to William Randolph Hearst. They were shot on the cheap. Sometimes he would shoot on the streets of New York and create a disturbance and watch the crowds react and shoot it like that. He would also have these outlandish premises, best illustrated in It's Alive, which is about a monster baby, but it's a serious film of sorts about a monster baby. Very serious. And it touches on environmental concerns. Or It's Alive, which is a monster baby movie, but it's a believable monster baby movie in which the characters react much the way we'd react if we had our own monster baby. That's his most critically acclaimed film. It's Alive came before Basket Case, for those of you that are into these type of films. And Basket Case is kind of a Cohen-style film. It's kind of a realistic, kind of acted-wise story about a ridiculous thing. He takes these ridiculous concepts, such as his last film, Original Gangsters, in which all the blaxploitation stars reunite to stop the gangs, and he makes them believable and something you can wrap your hand around. God Told Me To is about an alien being that is forcing people to kill other people and then saying, God told me to. Q the Winged Serpent is a relatively realistic movie about a monster in New York, in which Michael Moriarty acts like Robert De Niro in Taxi Driver, while acting opposite David Carradine, Richard Roundtree, and a cheap stop-motion monster. His performance is nearly the equal of Robert De Niro in something like Cape Fear. Let me think. Full Moon High has Adam Arkin and Alan Arkin in a relatively believable comedy. We had a werewolf in high school that predated Teen Wolf by several years. You can see his influence, I think, in Jordan Peele's movies Get Out and Us, which take outlandish premises and make them believable and realistic. Okay, Larry Cohen is just wildly enthusiastic about everything. And he had a very good plastic surgeon. He was 77 years old when he was being interviewed, and he looks about 55. And he also wrote a lot of hit movies like Phone Booth and Cellular. And his thing is that he's the idea guy. He has these wild ideas for movies that he just goes ahead and shoots. The best example is The Stuff, which is about a cereal that eats you, but you like it so much that you don't mind. He kind of influenced all the other B-movie filmmakers to make their own films, and he led the way to a reality now where the horror filmmakers are some of the few filmmakers that have any creative control over their films. As the bigger budget films, like some of the Star Wars movies, the directors are just getting fired left and right, and it's just whatever the studio wants. But when you see a horror film nowadays, like Us or Midsummer, you're seeing something that is low budget but does have the auteur stamp on it. And you can thank Larry Cohen for that, for encouraging people that he could make movies that reflected his own sensibility on a low budget. And you see horror filmmakers today still doing that. So that's why Larry Cohen is important. So it's like a monster baby could never happen, but if it did happen, it might happen like in It's Alive. Or a monster inhabiting the Chrysler Building in New York City would never happen. But if it did happen, it would probably be something like Q the Winged Serpent. Or Return to Salem's Lot, about a filmmaker who returns to his hometown that happens to be Salem's Lot, where vampires rule. That would never happen, but if you did have a town ruled by vampires, it would probably be something like the town in A Return to Salem's Lot. Happy film going, and get Shudder so you can watch King Cohen. They did not pay me to say that. I actually subscribe to Shudder, and I do pay the little.
Yay!